If you had to think of like the greatest performance you've ever seen, and it could be on stage, it could be a movie, it could be on TV, it could be the greatest performance you've ever seen.
You can say it was me, Brad. I don't want
It was Frank, and
yes.
we were just talking about Mike Lee stuff, and I go to David Thewlis and Naked. It's one of my first thoughts.
Yeah.
Incredible performance. Gene Wilder pops in my head, and Willy Wonka. I watched a lot of kids' movies, but it was that opening moment where he comes out of the factory, and he's limping. And you don't know what his affliction is, and then he trips and rolls out of it. And from that moment on, you never know what he's up to. And I thought it was a great opening.
And he added that in, didn't he?
I really don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think he improvised that.
Yeah.
I think something Monty Clift did. The movie where Shelley Winters was screeching at her, he was trying to kill her.
Place in the Sun.
Place in the Sun, yeah. It was, and I think also something that Rita Hayworth was in. Gilda. She was fucking great in that. I was watching it one night. Good God, I wish she was still around. Try to get her phone number.
I think it was kind of a bullshit first question to ask.
Okay. Got a better one?
But because you don't have any, I don't have anything coming out in the next couple of months that you can review poorly. I think I saw Malkovich in a Chekhov play in London, and it startled me. Then I ran into him, and he told me where there was a good Indian restaurant nearby.
I would say Malcolm should burn this.
Oof.
Oh yeah.
Heavily.
Robert in Weird Science.
Thank you. Don't get me started, dude. You want to start calling outside the lines?
Game on.
I tend to remember, I guess it's generational. I really do tend to remember moments on stage. I saw a musical called Bye Bye Birdie 45 years ago, and I was a very young man just in New York, and I was sitting in the first row off to the side. And Chita Rivera was singing a song called Be the Toast of Chichicas Tenango. That was her song. And I was looking up at the stage, and I saw 4 big spotlights on Chita coming from the rafters. And she was standing center singing a song. I remember even not just the performance, but the magic of the theater and the light hitting somebody singing, that sort of thing.
I remember, I lean more towards theater moments as well whenever I think about the kind of moments that stick out to you. When I saw Mary Louise Parker in Proof, she had the best line reading of the phrase "fuck you" ever. She's sitting there and she's thinking about it. She goes, well, "Fuck," and she pauses and she's thinking about it. And the other actor was so thrown that they just started him with the next line in the middle of the line. She goes, "You," and it was the audience. I mean, lost it, and I've never been able to get it out of my head.
Would you like to hear my most favorite line I ever said?
Yes.
On stage after 75 plays. Suck my dick. It was in a David Ray play, and I said it to Christine Baranski every night for 4 months. I couldn't wait to say it. Such a great line to say on stage.
Did you write that down?
That was the hot.
I got to chime in with Martin Sheen in Wall Street in the elevator to Charlie, because he employed technique, which was, you judge a man by the size of his butt! Because I thought that was so balls. You know that thing, like scenes where you go like, oh, don't pick a word and hit it real hard. They're gonna realize that you're a tripped out fraud. But just that thing, it's like that shock value, and yet it made sense. It was organic.
Yeah.
I also
In an elevator, no less. It's hard to hate elevator scenes. You're not in a goddamn elevator. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I just had a blank, and it's a really embarrassing one because
I have them all the time.
What do you got?
Oh, no, you're going to tell everyone.
No, I'm not.
No, you're dangerous.
Trust us. Bring it in. That's right. I've been trustworthy for almost 1,500 days now.
What's the worst line you ever had to say in a movie? I had a friend named Raul Julia, and we used to call each other from locations and say, I think this is close to the worst line I've ever heard. So Raul would say to me, I just said to Mel Gibson, get out of town or I'll kill you.
Anne, what were you whispering to? Can you tell us now?
I had it occurred to me that calling out my own, blank is just going to make it obvious. But I was just thinking of a moment that involved a dick, and it was Julie Christie in Shampoo when she's having that conversation with a guy, and he's like, "I'll give you anything you want." She's like, "Anything I want," and she's so deliciously drunk, and she goes, "I want to suck his cock," and it's the greatest line reading. And then Warren Beatty does a fantastic spit take, and so that's a moment that I remember. It comes out of nowhere. You never expect Julie Christie to say anything.